Hello.
Hello, hello, hello. How are we?
I'm very well.
I'm very well too.
How are you?
How's your January 2019 going so far?
Yes, very well.
It's busy for us. Lots of changes.
Yes, I got a cough there.
There's lots and lots of changes in the Q corner set. We went through some massive changes.
I think that's some of the changes I've just ingested prior to the show there.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, it is us. Yes. Yes. I'm sorry.
Sorry to disappoint. We've taken back control
Yes.
of the set.
We've locked the door, changed the keys.
They're not allowed back for a little while.
How very rude.
Exactly. So yes, we're well, there's been lots of changes going on, and there's going to be a lot more changes going on that you'll see hopefully in the coming months on the Q Corner. Thanks again for turning up. We really appreciate it. What shall we do today, Dom?
Well, let's talk about helium.
Oh, what a good idea. Let's talk about helium.
Yes.
Helium's been
Not
big.
yet.
Oh yeah, before we do all that, we should really do this.
Do this, yeah.
And we're back.
See, we're too eager to talk about
Did you
stuff.
miss us?
I didn't.
We've got a big video today actually because we did want to talk about helium. The subtitles in Espanol, you can actually put the subtitles on in here. We've watched it before. It's hilarious because they've got to translate what we say into English and then
into Spanish.
And then into Spanish or local language. It is quite hilarious.
I think when I read it in Spanish, it came out pretty well.
Yeah, it's as good as your Spanish actually is.
It
so there we
truly
go.
is, yes.
Yeah, we've got to talk about helium and airfill because the helium comes around and it comes around and it comes around. We had a big issue back in 2012 worldwide. Yeah,
It doesn't seem that long ago, but
it's like 7 years. We're in 2019 now. That was 2012.
That's what I'm saying.
7, yeah. It's like 6.5, 7 years. Crazy. Doesn't seem like 2 minutes ago, but it was. It was a while ago now. And there was a helium problem there. It was a bit of a shortage. Supply out. It's the usual thing where one of the distribution because one of the sites goes down for a reclaim or whatever.
A logistical issue rather than lack of helium.
Exactly. So again, people are experiencing the same sort of thing at the moment.
Yeah.
Now,
Crazy panic.
So what we always do is anyway, anytime that we have any issues with helium, we say that there isn't just helium. There's we have airfill as well.
Absolutely.
In fact, helium is generally done as an easy option for ourselves.
It is, it's our normal go-to. We've got it. It's there. You can do some amazing creations with helium. However, the balloon really is the magic bit for the customer.
Exactly.
It's
the customer doesn't come in asking for helium balloons. Generally, they generally come in asking for balloons. It's just us as an easy option that put the helium balloons in front of the customer.
To be fair, most of the time our customers come in, they've got a situation they want to fix. They've got a birthday they want to impress with.
Exactly.
They've got a wedding they want to do something spectacular for. They're not saying I want a helium balloon or this kind of thing. They want to impress or just make the occasion, and that's what balloons can do. So we go to helium, absolutely, but we don't need to.
No, what we're going to do is we shared the cactus design last time. Somebody just said in the chat that they love the cactus design. Thank you very much.
Not just someone.
Edward.
Edward.
It's Mr. Potato Head.
AKA Mr. Potato.
So,
I so wish we had that queued up right
I know,
now.
yeah, it would have been really funny. So anyway, we want to share another design.
We do.
So if you want to sit back, relax, if you've got yourself a cuppa, you should know the score. We have.
I have mine. I'm ready to go. I knew this was coming.
Enjoy a new one, because if you saw the title of this week's episode, it was Flowers and Flamingos, so this is the flamingo part. Hope you enjoy it.
With air filled at the heart of it all.
Okay, enjoy, guys. Hi guys, I'm going to share this flamingo design with you. It's completely air filled because we're loving the air filled right now, and it's based on the birthday pink flamingo foil, which has been very, very popular in 2018, and we suspect that it's going to be more popular in 2019 too. So it's all based around this foil. It's completely air filled and it's very simple to do. All we need is some 5-inch in wintergreen and Caribbean blue. Now these have been inflated to approximately 4 inches on using a hand pump. We use the hand inflator, the Qualitex hand inflator, 3 strokes on the hand inflator to get these size. So you've got a pair and a pair, make it into that quad, and we've got a few of these, and we're going to make a base from this. So in the middle of that, though, what I need to do is I need to use one of these. Now if you can listen, this is actually a sand weight that's been sized, so I'm going to show you how we're going to use this. So what we need is we need one of these, and for that we have a double stuffed 5-inch balloon, we have a hand pump, and we have some sand. Now we used various different size bottles, depends on how big a sand weight we're actually doing. This one, it's actually, we've measured it, we've used some scales, so it's got sizes and weights on there. So we know that if it goes up to this band, we've got about 100 grams worth of sand in there. So what I can do is inflate my 5-inch balloon, overinflate it. So this is the double stuffed one. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it over the neck of the bottle that has the sand in. So it just goes over there. And then we flip it that way up, the air goes up and the sand goes down to fill our sand weight. Just give it a little bit of a jostle as it goes. Take off the neck, pull this back and get rid of the bottle now. And now we have the sand in here, but it's still too big. So I need a sizing guide. This one is one of the sides off the very best size box, and I'm going to size it down to 3 inches, which is a 1 stroke and a hand pump normally. So I'm just going to take us down. And I'm going to allow it to go through there. Just going to round it a little bit so it goes through there nicely, and that gives me a sized sand weight, perfect as we need it. And I'm going to tie this to a 6-inch Caribbean blue quick link that's been sized 1 stroke on a hand pump, approximately 3 inches, and I'm going to tie this into a duplet. So we have this like this. Then we need 2 of our clusters of 4, and I'm going to keep the wintergreen to the bottom, and we're going to need this duplet, which is our quick link and our sand weight, and then we're going to need another duplet of wintergreen, both sized to approximately 3 inches again. So we're going to turn that into a cluster of 4, and then I'm going to pull this, I'm going to put this on top of my first quad, my first cluster of 4, pull up a neck, and I'm just doing a figure of 8 wrap over the top like this. That goes down. I'm going to grab a neck from the next layer, and I'm going to do the same thing again. So it goes down one side and up, down the other side and up the side, and let it go. And then what this does is, if I move this around correctly, we have the sand weight at the bottom. We have a quick link, which gives us a connection point on the top. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to pull the air out of there and tie it off, because I am going to use it as a connection point later. So that's our base sitting there nicely, and that's going to be 1/2 of our base. I need to make the second half of the base now. Now the second half of the base is again using a couple of clusters like this. And then it's also duplet, and it's going to be another of the sand weights. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to deal with this in a little bit, because the way that I'm connecting it, I'm going to connect a flamingo into this design. So I'm not going to connect it just yet. We're going to wait until the flamingo is done. But what I can do is I can finish this into a smaller base. And I have the foil that we were talking about before. This is the birthday pink flamingo foil. And what I need is a scrap of balloon. So I'm just going to take a scrap of a 160Q. It's just going to become a tie-in point for me. And I'm going to roll this neck up. Rolling it, rolling it, rolling it. Fold that over. And tie it once and twice. And then I can connect it directly to the top of my quick link. I can tie that nice and tight in there. Just going to double knot it, make sure it's nice and secure. Use my scissors to clear the mechanics, so we try and keep it as tidy as we possibly can. And then I have a cluster of 4 5-inch rose balloons, which have been sized to about 3 inches again. Again, it's one stroke and a hand pump. And this is going to pull through here and cross over. So this gives us what's going to be part of our base for later. So I'm just going to put this down out of the way, just down here. Because what I want to do now is I'm going to create the flamingo that's going to sit on the top. Now this is a great thing, it's a great design for decorators, retailers and for the twisters out there. So I hope you like the design. It uses 160 Qs. The main part that it's going to stand on is going to be a leg. Now the leg is going to be using Wildberry 160Q. But because it's got to stand up for a length of time and it's all air filled, it's got to stand on that one leg like we would normally see a flamingo do, we have to double stuff. So what I've got is I've got 2 Wildberry 160Qs. This is the one that I cut in half for my tie-in point earlier. And I'm going to cut them, I don't need very much of it, so I'm going to cut them down to about the same length here. Get rid of that. And then I have a bit of florist wire that's been folded over. It's not the longest one in the world, to be fair. Could do with being a little bit longer, but it is a piece of florist wire that's been folded over, so it doesn't have the sharp point sticking on the end, which might go through the balloon. And then from there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to feed that onto the florist wire, the first part of the 160, and then I'm going to pull that down and then feed the second one over the top. And I need to feed it all the way down so that the tips are together. Grab hold of both of the tips and then pull them back off so I can get rid of my florist wire. From there I pull down on the outside 160Q. Let's see if I can get hold of it. There we go. Pull it down, stretch it out. And I need, to inflate this, I need a pocket pump. So it's the small one because it has, actually I'm just going to trim some of that off because I don't need it. I'm using the 160Q pocket pump because it has that needle valve which makes it easier to go into a 160Q. And then I can inflate my 160Q double stuffed Wildberry balloon. And it's much stiffer now, it's a lot stronger. So when we're using it to stand up, using the whole design is going to stand on this, this 160Q, it's got a lot more strength. So from there, we'll tie that off. And then what I need is, I need a 6-inch quick link Caribbean blue, because this is going to be the top balloon. I'm going to inflate it with just one stroke on a hand pump. I'm going to tie it off in itself, and then I'm going to tie it quite loosely to that 160Q that we did. So it's got this stretch in between. From there I stretch up and I'm going to take hold of the neck. I'm going to need a tie-in point, so I've got my piece of 160Q ready. I'm going to take this up and I'm going to push it all the way down and stretch out where that quick link end is, so I can actually grab it inside of the quick link middle, give that a twist, and then nice and tight it goes round there. and I'll tie it once and twice, and then trim off the excess. And with this, it's an apple twist, also known as a tulip twist. Sometimes it's called a marriage twist because it's connecting the two balloons together. But now we have the connection of the tip of the quick link, but it's connected to the 160Q wild berry, so it's ready to go. On here, I'm just going to put this to one side because we'll come back to that in a little bit, because we're going to make the rest of the flamingo. Now we're going to start with the flamingo head. It uses a 160Q rose balloon, and we're going to start off with 2 small pinch twists. So 1 and 2 pinch twists, and then we're going to leave about 3 fingers of a bubble. We're going to make another small pinch twist, and then we're going to come back down there the same size, twist it off and lock them together. And then from there we're going to create a loop. Now this is going to be the side of the flamingo, so it's going to the flamingo's head. So we're going to create a loop on there, twist it off, and then twist it around that pinch twist, so it gives us the beginning shape of the flamingo head in itself. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in the eyes. Now the eyes are done with a 5-inch pink balloon and a pocket pump. And all I'm going to do is it's just going to go in there, and I'm going to do 3 strokes to get the right size. So 1, 2, 3, and it gets me a nice small round balloon, which I can tie off. What I'm going to do into this is I'm going to push this in between, and to make sure it doesn't go anywhere, the neck of the balloon, I'm going to wrap it around that back pinch twist and tuck the rest of it inside. So now we have the 2 eyes on either side of the flamingo. It's going to come down to the body, so I'm going to decide on the neck length like this, and I'm going to create a small pinch twist which is going to connect into the body. Now to create the bulk of the body, we could use a lot of 260s and things, but to create the bulk, what we're going to use is we're going to have a 6-inch quick link in pink, and I'm just going to do 2 strokes on that. And I'm going to tie off both sides, so one side tied off, the other side tied off, and then one of those sides I'm going to wrap it in nice and tight to that pinch twist at the bottom of the neck. So it's like this. And then from there I'm going to turn this, I'm going to go sideways around, all the way around. So I'm going to go halfway around first, pull it tight, twist that off, and I'm going to wrap it around the knot, or wrap the knot around it to make sure that it's nice and secure. So that goes over there, and then we're going to come back again, try and keep the same tension as the opposite side, lock it off and wrap it into the pinch twist. So we're starting to see the beginnings of that flamingo coming into place. I don't need the rest of this, so I'm just going to take my scissors, get rid of the excess, and I'll tie it to the original tip of the quick link to make sure that it doesn't come out. And then I'll get rid of that. From here we're going to add on the bottom of the flamingo, which is going to be our connection point, and we're going to add a couple of wings on there. For that we've got 160Q pink, so it's inflated almost entirely. I have the opposite end, the back end of my quick link. From the beginning I'm going to tie this into here, nice and tight, and I'm just going to trim that off. And trim, oh, get rid of that, I don't need that. And I'm going to get rid of this, because I don't need this either. And I'm going to create a tail first of all. So it's about 3-finger bubble of what's going to be a tail. And then I'm going to come over the, oops, twist it. So try it again under tension. There we go. to come all the way over the top, round the pinch twist, back up again, back down, around the tail, and then we're going to come out underneath the tail. So I have my two wings on the top, and then the bottom of the tail is going to come all the way under. This is the bottom of the flamingo. And then halfway across, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a twist. Put a few twists in there, and then finish it off around the neck and that pinch twist. And I'm doing almost a figure of 8 again around, because once it wraps around itself a couple of times, I can get rid of the excess, and even without tying it in, I can just tuck that in out the way, and it's good. So the side goes like this, the neck's like this, the neck goes between the two wings, like this, so that it sticks up properly, and we have our little flamingo. It needs the legs, and it also needs a beak. So for the beak, we have a 160Q in black, which I'm just going to cut a piece of the tip off on here, and then it's a self-sealing balloon. Can you believe it? Sometimes when you cut them, it's almost self-seals. I'm just going to create a small tip on here, and then twist off, let a little bit of air out. Come on, a little bit of air out, soften it a little bit, there we go. And tie that off. Put a bit of a bend in it, so it gives us the shape. And then in between, the right at the front, I'm going to wrap it in between those two pinch twists. And I'm going to clear the excess. Again, we try and make everything as nice and neat and tidy as we possibly can, so that it gives us the beak of the flamingo. And then we need to connect it onto our legs, which, as we said, this is going to be our legs. So I'm going to decide how tall it's going to be, or how short. I'm going to make it about here. I'm going to make it quite tall, and I want to make a series of 3 pinch twists. Okay, so we're going to do our first small bubble. Now when you deal with this, when it's double stuffed like this, you'll feel it's super tight. It's a lot stronger when it's double stuffed, and that's exactly what we want on this. We want it to be stronger. And then I'm going to do my last pinch twist and get this third one in there. Oh, the outside went, but the inside stayed. I think we can get away with it for this one, because it was just on the right at the end. But those 3 are nice and secure. They made me jump though. Okay, so I'm just arranging my pinch twists, because what I want, somebody to go. Well, so I want it so that we have our 3 pinch twists that sit like this. And then it means that what I can do with this is I can hook the pinch twist underneath our connection part that we do at the bottom. So it just goes under there, through the middle, and it gives us a nice solid connection for our flamingo to stand on. And we just need to we'll put an eye on this. So I'm going to use a Sharpie marker. I'm going to do a very simple eye. I'm going to create a curve like this, and then an eyelash and an eyelash to give us a curve. And I'm going to do the same thing on here, making sure I do it the same way. So curve like this, and an eyelash and an eyelash. And then that gives us this very simple but elegant style of eye on the top of there. Now this could be done with, we could use this as a bracelet as it is if you're a twister, put this straight under a bracelet, or if you really want to go for it, if you like, we like our hairbands, we could finish it off, we could do this, we could put onto a hairband. And it's a great design by itself for our twisters. But for our retailers and our decorators, we're going to add it into the rest of the design. So should I wear this for the rest of it? No, I'll put this out of the way, it'll distract me. So I have my connection here. I'm going to tie this end on directly onto one of them sand weights that we did earlier. Sand weights. Tie it in nice and tight. Tie it once and twice. And then I've got another duplet. Again, these are only sized at 3 inches approximately. And that gives us our cluster of 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it over so I can see a neck. I'm going to put this down here. And I'm doing that figure of 8 wrap, nice and tight. And then I'm going to take a neck from that next layer. And I'm going to take our other cluster of 4. Up it goes. And pull it nice and tight. One side, one side, one side, and across. And then I just straighten this up so that it sits nicely as a base. So we have this base and we have this base because it's all about the base. And what we're going to do is we need to connect the 2 of them together. Let me just turn it the right way. So we're going to connect the 2 of them together. So we've got an open end here, an open end here. So what we're going to use is a 12-inch quick link, one of the wavy stripes. This is the blue and green wavy stripes version spray. It's sized to approximately 9 inches. I've already inflated it and I've tied off this end and I've tied off this end. So it means that what I can do is I can take that straight into the middle, pull that in, and again I'm just doing that figure of 8 wrap around 2 of the balloons. So it goes round 1 and up. That gives us a secure connection on this side, and then I'm going to take it on this side. I'm going to do exactly the same. So it's going to go through there, into the middle, and I'm going to go down one side and up, down the other side and up, round, and there it goes. Just need to straighten everything up, make sure it's sitting nicely. So we have this going on. There's only a little bit that we like to add in, which is we take another, just to finish off the end, I've taken another 5-inch wintergreen, sized 1 stroke on a hand pump. And we're going to wrap it in one side, and we're going to wrap it in the other side. All finished. So there we go, guys, completely air-filled. I hope you like it. For our twisters, I hope you like it too. Oh, we turn the other way as well, so they're talking to each other. I hope you like this too. I hope you enjoy it. Let us know what you think. Bye for now.
Welcome back.
Welcome back indeed.
And the Flamingos come to join us.
Look at this. Why?
Did anyone else notice how much Keith jumped during that little clip there?
I did. I was doing that. Honestly, when you got the 160Qs and the double stuff and you're doing the pinch twists, also I hadn't left quite enough air in there. So as I was doing the third one, it was super, super, super tight. And as I went, it popped the extra bit, but it was just the inside balloon, so I managed to get away with it for that one.
And the thing is as well, the reason for doing that double stuff technique on the leg is for the stability and strength in the long bubble part.
Yeah,
actual leg.
bit, yeah.
The pinch twists themselves have got lots of structure, so they're pretty good, and having the 3 in there is fine, so that's why it's not worth replacing. But it was funny to watch him jump.
I did jump, I have to say. It's one of these things that sometimes, you know, you think you've been working with balloons for so long, you think that the odd pop, you don't jump and things, but when you concentrate and you're in on it and things, something just pops, you just jump, and that's it.
Although admittedly I was in the studio at the same time and
You jump behind the camera. So
I was on film, so
yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Right. I think you should do something dumb. I'll sit here and look pretty.
What?
Well, Hetty said that I look cute. I remember. I saw it in the chat. Thanks, Hetty.
He'll be taking a screenshot of that then.
Yeah, exactly.
He'll be putting it in his Facebook profile page. Yes, but it is all air-filled in the studio this week, and it's because, you know, we have had we've had a price rise.
Yeah.
It does affect our business, so we're looking for creative ways to offset that a little bit.
Yeah.
And it has been a topic of conversation with people we've been speaking with.
We're also all over social media as well.
Yeah,
We've seen
absolutely.
it all over the place.
And you know what? We're not having to reinvent the wheel here. We're just going back to some of the things we've done for a long time, refreshing them, using some of the new balloons that are out there, such as the Flamingo for inspiration. But one of our go-to ones is something we've done for many years for predominantly Valentine's Day and Mother's Day.
Yeah, them's the two in particular. Yeah, it started off with it was a Mother's Day one first, but then we started doing them for Valentine's Day, and now we do them every Valentine's.
Yeah,
so.
and it's just a few 260Qs and a few 5-inch, and we can do an amazing bouquet of flowers on a little mini base. And for us, it's a really good kind of a really good seller, but it can be sold on its own. Or if you do have and no issues with helium, you can still add in helium elements to it as well, because it makes a perfect base to add any of that floating decor from as well.
Exactly,
So
it's a good base. It's a like a deluxe base.
it is,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
So we're going to use 2 layers of 5-inch. We're going to use 5-inch spring green.
I guess that's what you meant, Des, as well. I wore the purple just for you. I know you'd appreciate it. I need this over here a moment because I'm going to steal this.
You
over
get that,
here.
I get this, as I dive under the table a little bit.
Because also as well as that, like we said before, back in 2012,
Wow.
we did have a situation with the helium, and it affected across the world. It wasn't just key areas. I know a lot of people where we travel to, they think it's just their area where it affects, and it's not. It doesn't. It affects different places at different times. It all just comes round, and then it comes back, and then it affects and things. So we just work clever.
Absolutely. Yes.
So I'll let Dom start on this. He's going to tell you a little bit about what he's doing, and then I'll show you something else as well, what we used back in 2012, which you might find useful.
I was laughing at myself today when I got these out, because I was thinking when Spring Green came out, I was thinking, Qualitex. Why another green?
Why another green?
We got winter green. I love winter green. I love lime green. We got normal green.
Couldn't do without lime green.
Yeah. But now
we love spring green.
Spring green's my go-to green.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll eat my words from however long ago that was.
Exactly.
So we've got a duplet of 5-inch here.
Let me get rid of this.
These are, we've got 2 sizes we're working with, and it is approximately 3-inch and approximately 3.5-inch. 3 sets of 2, so it's going to be a 6 clustered base. So we're going to start off with the bigger sizes. We're going to start off, just push those through, twist them, gives us our 4 balloon cluster. Then another cluster, just going to pull that through the middle, just wrap it round and lock it in place. Now I can push it down, looks great, but it will just keep popping back up again. There's no way that you can get that to sit down flat until you add another bit of structure, another layer into that one as well. So I'll do that now by doing the same thing but with the smaller size. So just twist and lock those together.
So like Dom said, it was 2 strokes on a hand pump on the for the 3.5-inch, and it's 1 stroke on the hand pump. We like using the stroke counts.
We always say kind of the words approximately, and what we mean by that is 2 strokes of the hand pump or 1 stroke of the hand pump, perfect, or using something like the premium twin air sizer.
Yeah.
I think it was something like 0.2 and 0.4.
Yes, that's
Those
right.
sizes are great because they're relative to themselves. We just wouldn't use the twin sizer, then
one
the
and
hand
then
pump.
pump. Yeah. They've got to be the same size as each other. Yeah.
It's just whatever equipment you have access to, it's just finding the relative setting or size based off the equipment that you have.
So Dom's putting that together into the dual layer base. He's just taking the neck from 1 layer and he's wrapping it around, doing that figure of 8 wrap to pull them together.
Also as well, if you do that wrap and you don't feel like you've got it tight first time, you don't need to undo it. Just take another neck. It could be from the top or it could be from the bottom. But just pull a second one through and just push again to make sure that you've anchored that down well, especially when you've got something like a 5 or a 6 balloon clustered base.
Anything where we're building designs with air filled, it's generally
Yeah.
got to be tight because the structure's got to hold it together for as long as possible.
Yes.
So there's nothing wrong with taking another neck and adding that extra tension to really pull it together.
Colour coordinated weight, double stuffed, so we've got 2 5-inch there with a little bit of sand in.
That weight, is it a 5-minute or a 10-minute weight?
We'll see. That's the best job we have. So I'm going to pull that through the middle and we'll wrap that around. Remember, as always, when we're connecting things into layers like this, make sure that you wrap it round different balloons. You don't want to put all that pressure on one, because if something did happen to it while the customer had it, you know what, they'll just turn around. It wouldn't really be a big deal. But if that was the one balloon that everything was attached to and then it all falls apart, it's a bit of a disaster. So that's why we kind of spread that pressure around the multiple balloons. But that's our base, nice and simple. You know, it's
lovely.
It's just in the spring green one colour. We want to do that because it's going to work with the design that we're doing. But you change the colours up on this, add different designs.
I mean, you could put a foil straight on there, you could put a bubble straight on there, and it's nice by itself. You can use as a collar, you can use as a base, you can use as anything. But we're going to add some more air-filled stuff on there first, guys.
So you'll have seen us do this before. This is our definite go-to quick twisted design.
Yep.
We use it for all sorts, but it's
Absolutely.
a building block for us. This is like a piece of Lego.
It is.
We use it so often. So this is just a 5-petaled flower. We've got a little bubble on the middle there just to add a little accent colour. You can use the same colour as the petals if you wish, or you could use the green in the middle there as well.
Quick impression. Princess Leia.
Well, it's more like Indiana Jones coming out there.
It wasn't Star Wars. It was
Superman.
Superman. You did
Yeah.
Superman.
It's a known fact that nobody can sing the 3 theme tunes back to
Superman, Star Wars, and Indiana
Jones.
Jones. Yeah, you can't do them back to back. Impossible. If you think we want to see a video proof, tag us in it if you can actually do it. But we don't think it's possible. Yeah, unedited. Yes. Okay.
So for the flower, very quickly, we start off with our 260Q and we leave about a handspan uninflated. It'll depend on how much you twist it and how big your loops are will dictate how much air you do or don't need to put in there, but a little bit of practice you'll find out how much air you'll need to do. We're just starting at the knot end, hold on to the knot, just fold that balloon over without getting Keith in the eye, just to make the first loop, squeeze and twist. Once we've twisted it so it doesn't come untwisted, take that nozzle, tuck it through the loop. That's our first loop. This is our benchmark now. We want to make all the rest of the loops the best we can to the same size. Okay, so we're going to fold it over.
Another small loop.
Have a look, see if it's about the same, and twist. I don't overly twist at this point though. I want to take a quick glance, make sure I'm happy. If I'm not unhappy, I can untwist it and fix it, make it smaller, make it bigger. And I'm happy with that. So I'm now going to make my third loop. I just pop my finger behind that balloon so I can fold it over, and then I can adjust that size. When I'm happy, at the back I'm just going to squeeze it in a little bit just to collapse the balloon just a touch, and then on the rest of the balloon I can just twist it. It'll collapse fully, and then I can wrap that around, then continue on to make my 4th loop.
And then after the 4th loop you get to do the 5th loop.
You know, maths was our strong point.
Oh, I can count.
So that gives us our 5-petaled flower. You can go on and do as many as you wish, or as many as you got enough balloon for, okay?
You can't do 6 years and you can't do a flower. You need to practice, my friend. Practice, practice, practice. Okay?
So we don't need the rest of this, so we can remove that into the Q-corner bin.
6 years, you can't do a flower. Can't believe that. You need more practice, buddy.
We need a bigger bin because I think the Q-corner floor is not.
Hey, I tell you what, we're getting a whole new set. Boom. We're in the process of having a whole new set done for Q Corner and another extra sets as well for doing stuff. So watch this space. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. We're super excited.
We are.
At the moment, it's worth all of the headache that we're having for doing that, but it will be. It will be worth it.
The bubble for the inside here, because we're going to do a different colour, I'm going to inflate my 260Q white. I'm going to tie that off. Now, a lot of people tell us that they don't often bother with a different colour.
Because they always use just that bit.
Yeah, just the end piece. You don't need to just use the end piece.
New 260 for everyone, and it's like, no.
And the inflate and the tying, it takes time. So what we do, just as a little shortcut, a cheat if you like, we use a inflated 260Q, pull the knot in, wrap it around, and then what we want to try and achieve is a small bubble. So just squeeze, roll the balloon.
Can you attack me?
So we just end up with that small bubble. And then the rest of this balloon, we're going to pull around the back of the flower so it leaves what is really a pinch twist in the middle of that flower.
There's people going here. You guys are crazy. Somebody's just said up there, 12 years on, they've just found out how much they should leave for doing a flower. You still can't do the flower. You've got to practice, guys. You've got to put in the effort. It's not something that happens overnight. Yeah, you can choose as well. For those that know, you can use self-raising or plain flour.
Yes, you can. It's the best way.
That's like 2 jokes in one show.
The bubble at the moment looks a bit like a jelly bean though, because it's got that long shape of a pinch twist. But just to make it look a bit better, just squeeze the bubble just a little bit, and it will relax it, and I'll end up with a much rounder shape to it there.
I'm just going to find out as well.
Yeah.
If I squeeze you, do you relax?
My body has.
It doesn't feel very relaxed, to be fair.
Not this week, not in this office. So now that we've fixed this in, because we've wrapped it around the loops a couple of times, instead of cutting this balloon at the end, which means we lose all the air out of it, plus we'd have to tie extra knots in it to reuse it. If you squeeze the balloon just after where you've used it,
you've got some scissors over
then
there,
we can use some scissors, and let's see if we can do it without chucking my fingers.
Hey, look at that.
Done it without losing all the air in this balloon,
yeah.
which means you can then go on and add in another bubble to your next flower. So you can normally get, 6 or 8 bubbles out of the one balloon without having to reinflate it and without having to re-tie knots in it as well. So that's generally what we would do instead of having to use just the end. There's nothing wrong with using that.
No.
But
and if you do choose to use that, obviously keep your scrap for tying bubbles and connection points and everything. But you don't need to. Just do as Dom did. Use a bit. Keep going all the way through.
Just a nice, small, cute little bubble to give the centre of that flower.
Now that we've got all our flowers, Dom, what are we going to do?
We need to find the other flowers because I need...
You need another...
Don't need that one. So we've got 2 rows.
2 rows. Oh, we need another centre. Have you got another centre? And another centre.
Oh,
these are supposed to be scented flowers. 3 jokes, 1 show. You saw it here. 3 jokes, 1 show.
We'll finish that off.
Scented flowers.
I let it fly over there.
Right. Okay. Well, are you going to do the green bits on these ones, and then I'll show them the other stuff while you're redoing that. Okay.
Yeah. So we've got 3 260Q lime green. They're inflated, just leaving about 2 fingers uninflated at the end. It doesn't really matter too much because we're not going to use all of it. On the end of one, the knot end, just wrap that around the loops a couple of times and that'll hold that in place. You don't want a tall flower because they're going to look rather silly.
It's also almost out of shot.
Yep, if we do it just in half, it's still too tall. The proportion of it is too tall for the size of the base. So we're just going to bring it down so it's somewhere where we're happier with it, so it looks correct for the size of base that we're using. And with that, we can now measure up the other side to get ourselves 2 flowers out of 1 260Q lime green. So I'm going to put it through the middle, wrap it around a couple of petals. The excess we're going to remove.
Way! Happy New Year!
Away it goes. Just straighten everything back up again, so they end up with 2 flowers on 1 stem.
Right, you're going to do the other ones while I show them this. Right, okay, guys. Said back in 2012, we actually ended up doing a tour across the US. Yeah. And we went to some places that they didn't have helium for, I think it was the best part of 18 months or something. It was a bit of crazy.
Yes.
And Pioneer brought out some education material. I want to share it with you because it's still available on the internet. That's the address as well you can go to. And it's a publication that you can go to, you can download it as well. It's a PDF. And if you do a search for it, there's even a version in Espanol. So what we're going to do is I'll just flick it through, but because these designs, they don't go out of date, they're still air filled. Everything that we do in there is air filled. All the instructions and the tips and everything are bang up to date as well. Dom's still twisting in the background, can you hear him? I thought I was going to get hit in the ear by a piece of 260 there.
I didn't do that noise on purpose.
But yeah, we still got the Minnie Mouse. Some of these foils and that might have been discontinued, but you can update it with new designs. There's nothing wrong with it. It's got the instructions on how to do balloons on sticks. Again, these are all air-filled. And we can go through using 646Qs, 260s, 350s, all sorts of different things. Very, very handy. Going all the way through. And that address on the bottom is a direct link to it. And like I say, you can download it. Is that everything? Some of the stuff, like I say, might not be available anymore because it was from coming up 7 years ago. But it's still great, a great read if you haven't seen it before.
Still, though.
Yeah, absolutely, in there because that was the Qualitex Airfill Advantage that they brought out, which is it was really good for us.
It was.
It was.
Yeah.
Okay, are we back?
Yeah.
Hey guys, we're back.
Hi.
Hope you like that.
So I've just got my 3 stems with a flower on each end. I've made them approximately the same length. I'm not worried about them being exact, but just somewhere roughly in the middle. Just grab all 3 of those. Just put a little twist in, and then they are going to be pulled into the centre of that base. And all we're going to do is take over one of the necks of the 5-inch from that top cluster, pull that up, and pull it through those 260Qs to anchor that down into our base. So they'll kind of fan out now. and sit into position.
Looks lovely.
Ta-da! I think we
Actually, if you added loads and loads and loads, it would be a real big bunch of flowers as well. But we're not doing that.
6 cell max. Yeah. 4 maybe if we really like. 5 if we've got a spare one. 6. Pushing the boundaries of what we're prepared to do.
Exactly. Somebody's just saying on there as well that they've already they've built a lot of the designs based on a lot shown in that publication, and it's very, very profitable stuff. Yeah, it is. I mean, the airfield stuff is very profitable. We found as well.
I think sometimes you just forget some of the things you do, and it's just kind of reminding ourselves to go back to some of the great designs we did and sold really well.
Helium's too easy at times. I think it's just too. What's the word?
Convenient?
That's exactly the word I was looking for. Too convenient, and sometimes we've got to push ourselves out of that safety zone, that comfort zone.
I'm going to use a 260Q. I'm going to use a pink so you can see it, but normally we use the lime and green because it'll be going on the stems. Just going to squeeze the air out with that, and then once I squeeze the air out, I'm going to tie a knot in the end. So this is what would be a colour-coordinated elastic band. And what I'm going to use that for is to bunch the stems up, the flowers up there, and just wrap this around, hit myself in the face at the same time.
Do it. You can do it.
That just ties on, and then just snip off the excess. And then you just slide that up a bit further. You can see there, it holds it. It's a very mechanical connection to hold that in place. And now as well, we can just fold over the tops of the stems and just put a little squeeze on there. So it's just a very kind of soft shop twist there. Just fold it.
So you just sneak up on it carefully
and just have some of them ones.
That'll do. Put the bow on it. Done.
Perfect.
Yeah, just turn it this way a little bit though, because there's no centre on that one. And we wanted centred flowers.
Yay. Oh. Just going to take a 160Q now. This is going to become a wraparound, but it's nice to have that structure of the 260Q underneath to give it the security. So it just means that you're not having everything relying on that one balloon there as well. We want to add a bow on as well, so I'm going to try and do this out of one balloon.
I'm getting attacked! I'm getting attacked!
We need a bigger studio.
I need danger pay or something like that. I think we should actually make some sort of table that's a corner.
Yeah.
So that we're further away from each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
barriers.
The bottom part of this bow I want to be nice and neat. So pull that knot really tight, so then it enables me to snip off the excess part of the balloon there. Just a long bubble to start with, and then I want to create 2 loops about the same size. So I'm just going to create 1 loop.
Did you say tulips?
No. Oh, why?
Oh, jokes! One show! I'm on fire!
He's had time off over Christmas and we're getting all the bad cracker jokes. I've made 1 loop that's twice the size that I need.
Oh, yeah. And then you're going to turn it into
2 loops.
Oh, 2 loops.
So we have that, slide it up there, so we find the middle, and then just bring that down to create 2 loops that are the same size.
I see what you did there.
They're very flat loops. These are not nice shaped loops. So I'm going to bring them round together and squeeze them and fold them back out again to give a much nicer shape. And the reason I brought them round together was so I could shape them the same, so they look approximately the same.
Nice little tip. We do that when we shape a lot of different things. Even when we're just using heart balloons and we want to shape them in the same way. If you get them together, squeeze them both, like the lobes at the same time, you get it. It's more symmetrical.
Yeah. Otherwise, I always found that one, lovely. Did the second one, didn't match it.
That's right.
Spent half my time trying to put it the same as the first one.
Yeah, we do butterflies with 6-inch hearts. If you would like us to see us do that, leave a comment and we'll see about putting it in a different show. But we do it by distorting the heart slightly by doing this method.
It's rather cool.
It is.
Just to stabilise the centre of this bow, we're just going to put a small bubble. So it's much like the centre of the flower. So it's a pinch twist. We do it by twisting it, pulling the excess balloon around the back and all the way to the front again. Now normally for the bow, we finish this off by doing this bottom part of the tail. But that means we have to finish it there and tie it and cut it off. But if you want to make this a wrap around the flowers as well, we take that bow,
give it a squeeze,
we wrap it around the centre, and then we wrap it around the middle of that bow.
Look at that.
Make sure our pinch twist is in the middle to stabilise, and then we do the second part of the bow now. At the bottom, twist, snip off the excess, and then we tie. Again, make sure that's nice and tight. We're going to snug that knot up, because when we cut this excess off, if it's not a tight knot, it will just come undone really easily. So that's our bow.
Let's just turn it around a little bit.
Onto the nice side. They need fresh air twice a day, those please, King.
Oh, look at that! Fresh air twice a day for balloon flowers. It was like a joke, but different.
Yeah.
So, cute as you like. Great base. You can have balloons flying out of the centre of there or anything. We do them for Valentine's like this. We also do them for Mother's Day because it's a nice piece that the children generally buy for their mums.
It's great as well because the selection of colours that we have available with the Q260Qs. The Q260Qs. It means that the children get to choose the colours for the flowers as well. You know, mum's favourite colour, all that kind of thing as well. So I know which the new favourite colours are going to be though this year.
Spring green.
No.
What? Not spring green?
No.
Chrome! Because it's all about the chrome.
Couldn't resist. We've got to add a bit of chrome in.
Exactly. Look at this! It's beautiful!
It's just, again though,
apple twist on the bottom.
Just revisiting some designs that we've done for a long time. We take the new product of chrome, boom. But because
this little vase,
we wanted to add the chrome in the base as well.
And there's a weight in the bottom.
Yeah. Just a really simple way of adding that into the base area.
I think it's really pretty dumb. I think it's a cracking job. What do we think, guys? Do we like? I think we like. For
the bow as well, just because obviously these
love.
all 260Qs, when we inflated this particular one, we stretched it, so it makes it much thinner. It's much more like a 160 than a 260, so we just stretch it as we inflate it, which makes it that little bit narrower, so it helps with the scale and proportion when it's going on with the 260Q stems and flowers. But yes, I can see this one, the chrome version, being a top seller this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a prediction. Yeah,
it is.
Top seller for Mother's Day and Valentine's Day.
I think both. Yeah, I think mainly because that's what I'm going to do.
Well, exactly, because you sell what you show. I mean, we can't say that often enough. Yeah, people tend to buy whatever you put in front of them. So if you show it often enough, you will sell more of it.
What I'm really excited about for this year, though, is now we've got a different price point that's available for that design.
Yeah.
Because the chrome, although it's the same
Turn
thing.
it a little bit there. That's pretty.
I like it though. I was looking
no, but it's pretty on camera.
This is no different. We know this is no different to make than the other one. It isn't. Yeah. It's the same technique. This is slightly different, as in because it's a different base. Yeah. But this whole section here is exactly.
But that's only one balloon, though.
It is. It's less balloons.
Yeah, it's one. Well, one balloon. Two balloons if you include the 260, but it's one balloon. Yeah.
So it's actually less product.
Yes.
Yes, there is a marginal cost difference between the products.
Yeah.
However, the perceived value is so much higher.
It's up. So that's like massive thumbs up from us. We absolutely love it.
Definitely.
But we've kind of run out of time again, guys, as we always do. We've ran over. Our half an hour show was 52 minutes long this time. Mainly, that was mostly by me, so I apologise.
5-minute video, he said. I've got this
5-minute video. It was only 21 and a half. What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Nah, it's just that we like the design, so we thought we would show it with you.
It would have been 21 minutes if we took the jump out, but we thought we'd let that fly.
Exactly. So I think that's it for now.
Yes.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Yes, absolutely.
We'll see you again in 2 weeks.
Wow.
I know, time will fly.
It will.
If there are any things that you want us to cover or anything, please, you can send us a message.
Absolutely.
You can send us a message through the Mr. Q Facebook page.
Yes, and you can comment on the videos afterwards once they've been uploaded out there. Any videos, old, new.
Exactly.
Yes.
What do we need on here? Where can we go on this?
We'll go this one. So until the next time, see you in 2 weeks.
Bye-bye now.